The world's biggest meat supplier was the victim of a weekend cyber attack. Brazil's JBS shut down computer networks in North America and Australia following that attack. Operations were scaled back or shut down in the United States, Canada, and Australia. The beef industry is already dealing with worker shortages stemming from the pandemic. JBS says it's working to restore its systems from backup servers, which were not affected by the attack. Our next guest with a timely editorial out last week saying in the Wall Street Journal that it's time for Washington and the private sector to work together to prevent future hacks. Joining us right now is independent Maine Senator Angus King. He serves on both the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees. And Senator, this latest attack on a meat company coming just after the Colonial Pipeline probably just brings this to a real focus with the problems with cyber attacks. How concerned are you at this point?
Well, first, let me say it's great to see the band back together in real live time. I think that's a major step forward. I can't overstate how concerned I am. We keep having wake-up calls, and we keep not waking up. And we're, the meat packer. Now it's the food supply. A month ago, it was fuels. It could be energy next. It could be transportation. It could be the financial sector. And we've really got to scale up our responses. And one of the big things that I talked about in the Journal last week was a better partnership between the government and the private sector. And I realize to some of your viewers that's sort of an oxymoron, but we've really got to build up the relationships because when you have one of these attacks, the government can help. I mean, it has terrific resources and analysis for attributing the hack, where did it come from, what does it involve, and the private sector has to trust the government. And I think we're working on what we call SICI, the systemically important critical infrastructure, and an environment where the companies and the government can work together. There'll be some liability protection, some protection for proprietary information, but at the same time, some kind of mandatory reporting so that we have situational awareness. So we've really got to step that up. That's the first step, and then I'll talk about some others as well.
Well, Senator, just the idea of mandatory reporting, I feel that that's something we've been hearing about for years. People coming on from Congress and saying we need this. What's the holdup? Why is it taking years to even get to the point where it's required that you report these attacks?
Well, the business community rose up en masse 7 or 8 years ago when Susan Collins and Joe Lieberman proposed this and killed the bill. I think the mood is different this time, and I think business understands that this has got to be part of what will protect them. It's benefits and burdens, and there've got to be benefits, and there've got to be some burdens. So I think the time is now that this. That we have to move. Tom Fanning was one of the members of our national commission, the CEO of the Southern Company, a large utility, and he made it clear to us that this is something that has to happen. And the other thing I have to say, and I don't know, nobody knows yet exactly what caused the Colonial Pipeline, but a lot of the prevention has to start at the desktop. The federal government can do everything it can do everything right. Lord knows it doesn't, but it could. But if an employee in a critical industry clicks on a phishing email, we're in trouble. And so a lot of it is individual responsibility, cyber hygiene. If I were a CEO today, I would ask my marketing people or my contracting people, find some hackers out there, hire them to show me where my vulnerabilities are, because everybody thinks they're invulnerable. They're not. And I think having penetration testing by an outside group that's a friendly group could be a big help in exposing where people can get into your systems.
Senator, while you're here, let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure bill. It looks like Republicans are getting a little closer to where the Democrats are. There's still a big gap, not just in terms of the dollars, but also in how you pay for some of these things. You're an independent, but you caucus with the Democrats. What's your thought in terms of the $1.7 trillion bill that's on the table from the administration in terms of pay-fors? That's something that you've been concerned about, too much deficit spending in the past.
Well, number one, I appreciate the administration putting a plan forward that does have a pay for. The pay-fors, as you know, are at this point unacceptable to the Republicans. That's the real issue. I mean, you put your finger on the division. In my view, what they ought to do is try to establish a top line. What's the number going to be? And then the second question is what's in and what's out? What's infrastructure? And the Republicans are leaning on the hard side. I'm glad, to tell you the truth, that both sides have broadband in, because I think that's one of the highest priorities, particularly for rural areas. But then talk about how to pay for it. And there's got to be compromise. The president has indicated, I heard him, I was in the Oval Office with a group of Democrats and Republicans. He said, I'm ready to compromise. And I think he is. So they've got to come up with a pay-for plan that causes everybody a little bit of hurt, but also will keep the deficit down. So they're talking about having a week to do that, and I think we'll see whether both sides are in fact interested in really getting to a solution, or whether the president thinks he can go it alone with the Democrats. But he's going to have to sell his plan. There's no margin of error in the Senate. It's 50
Right.
votes. You got to have every single vote. And so he's got to sell it to the entire Democratic caucus as well.
Does he have your vote if there is no bipartisan agreement and the plan stays as is?
I've got to see what the deal is. One of my predecessors, Edmund Muskie, says, don't tell anybody, don't sell your vote until they get, in my cases, to the K's in the alphabet. I want to see what the deal is. And I'm going to.
Well, what is it that you want aside from broadband?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What is it that you want aside from broadband? What else would it take to convince you that the administration's plan is the right one?
Well, I think the hard infrastructure everyone can agree with: roads, bridges, rail, transit, those kinds of things. The question is whether some of the more sort of social service pieces ought to be in there, or should they be in a different deal. But the other piece is, again, how to pay for it. But there are a couple of things I've learned around here. One, you don't negotiate with yourself, and with all due respect, you don't negotiate on TV.
Smart plan.
Nice try, though.
Smart plan, but it does sound like it's going to take some convincing to get you to come around to it. Senator King, want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you.